Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The scenario is called Fragments. It was written by Steffen Schütte and translated into English by Pascal Breitenfeld, who is also our game master, and this is episode 2. Our recap will be given by me as my character, Carl Henning. So without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. It was on the evening of May 13th, the feast of our Lord's Ascension into heaven, that Jolanta Erling first stepped into my office. She was one of those self-appointed sergeants of the world who feel it necessary to bark out orders at people rather than simply ask politely. Narben Gesicht and I had been invited out for the day by his former commanding officer, Walter von Arenberg. The weather was pleasant, and we spent the day walking about and chatting. It wasn't until early evening that we returned to my office for a drink that we found the note from Dr. Prinz. I phoned him up immediately. He told me that a Mrs. Jolanta Erling was demanding our attention and that she needed to meet up at that same night. I wasn't exactly prepared. I was tired and it was getting late. Nevertheless, I agreed to the meeting and my comrades chose to stay with me. Despite the urgency, the clients took their sweet time getting here. The woman was, as I described her before, loud and domineering. Seems her professor husband had gone missing while on a lecture tour. She became alarmed when she received a flower shop receipt from Gottingen for 3,500 silk flowers in a rainbow of colors. The last anyone saw him was sometime after his lecture. He was running naked through the streets. I gathered that he had suffered some sort of breakdown and needed to be located. We checked with the police and the hospitals, but found nothing. We called to his next destination in Hanover, but he had canceled the trip. Also, his daughter showed up at our office half an hour after her stepmother left. She seemed wary to avoid the other woman, but was genuinely concerned with her missing father. We reassured her and sent her home. A few things of note that we did find. A letter from one of the famous brothers Grimm, Jacob, to his brother William, concerning the murder of his assistant. It read like the plot line to one of their stories. Seemed quite gruesome about the young man being mauled by a big bad wolf. The letter was dated 1810, a case long dead. Its only value might be for its association with the authors. In addition, we had the transcript from the professor's lecture. These academics, they put a great deal of emphasis on whatever subject they are discussing, as if its importance would shake the foundations of our society, when all it really amounts to is a bunch of fairy tales. We have decided to retrace the professor's steps in Gottingen. I am quite surprised the police didn't pick him up, but apparently that's not the case. It's possible a compassionate Christian rescued him from himself and is sheltering him, or worse, he has run off into the woods. In any case, I'm confident that a little detective work will find the missing professor and return him safe and sound to his loving wife.
Okay, thank you very much, Tom. So we left off when you boarded the train to Gottingen. It is the 14th of May, a Friday, and with the research and the calls you took and preparing for the trip, you got the 2 p.m. train, and it should bring you to Gottingen in about 4 hours. So the trip is quite uneventful. the most eventful thing is that the sky that was quite blue when you left Berlin starts getting clouded and overhung. And in the early evening hours, you arrive at the train station in Göttingen. You get your luggage, you get to the main station hall. There are a couple of bellboys from local hotels there. So, what are your plans?
I assume that we called ahead at least where we're going to stay. So let's have them.
Yeah, you can. What kind of hotel were you planning on taking?
Cheap.
Shouldn't we stay where the professor? Oh no, he was staying in a woman's house, right?
Well, he was staying with the widow.
Yeah, Stock was her name.
Yeah.
Converted it to like a boarding house of sorts.
Yeah, boarding house, exactly. Well, you could try to contact her. It's definitely possible.
Maybe he left some of his belongings.
I mean, we have to speak to her anyway, so we might as well stay there if she has sufficient room.
That does make sense.
If we have sufficient funds, we don't know what it costs.
We're assuming the client's going to reimburse us, correct?
Yeah.
Well, we can tell the client that we stayed there and it costs this, but we can stay someplace cheaper. I'm for the cheaper, but
I think a
As
boarding
you
house
wish.
is likely to be less expensive than a hotel, isn't it?
maybe. Except they
Yes,
want
I've
you to
never
stay there
stayed
more.
in a boarding house before, so this should be an interesting experience.
All right, we'll go there.
So you'll
Taxi to Frau Stock's house.
there's like an info desk, and you talk to the clerk, and he is able to connect you to the widow Stork, and elderly woman is taking the call. Yes. So how can I help you? This is Stork.
Hello, we're detectives from Berlin. We are looking for a missing professor. We also need a place to stay there. Do you have any rooms available?
Do a psychology.
27. What is my psychology? No. Oh, wait, it's 30. Okay, yes, that's a regular pass.
Pass. When you notice that when you say we're looking for a missing professor, there is this sharp intake of breath. I do rent out rooms for proper people. But it's kind of late for. Why didn't you call ahead?
Well,
How many people are you?
There are 5 of us.
Oh, well, I have 3 rooms. I can possibly house 5 people.
We only need them temporarily, just overnight.
Well, that's usually
2 days.
what I rent them for. What do you think I do rent them for on an hourly basis? What do you think we are?
No,
am.
I'm sorry. I assumed that because it's a boarding house, you rented them by the month.
Detective Henning, I'm prepared to go down the street and find room at the hotel if that's needed.
Well, I can accommodate 3 persons.
Well, would you mind if we came by and spoke with you a bit?
Well,
Did
I
you
don't
know?
what-
Did you know the professor, Professor Erling?
I certainly know who this person is. Yes, much to my demise. Well,
Well,
I can hardly prevent you from coming here.
ma'am,
But-
I don't want to upset you or anything. We're detectives.
well, this Professor Erling did that in a sufficient way already. So she tells you her address. Well, but I have to ask you that you don't cause a rouse like this professor did.
We'll be there in a few minutes, Miss Ma'am.
Yeah. So you can take carriage. Actually, when you step out of the train stations, in Berlin there are still horse carriages, but it's more motor cars at this point. Here the streets look a little different. It's a nice old town, and there you don't see any taxi cabs, but there are carriages you can hire.
Okay.
So all five of you going, or Joseph? I think you said you're going to a hotel, or
Well,
or
it
do you
sounds like two of us have to find someplace else to stay.
yeah. As I said, there are a couple of bellboys with signs from hotels there.
Unless we think it's necessary that all five of us go there to.
Why don't
Talk to this
let's all go there now and talk to her, and then
Take a look around, ask some questions, see how that goes.
Daniel and I can come back and get a hotel.
We can
Okay.
share a room. It's not
A cheap
that big of a
hotel.
deal.
Sure,
Yeah.
fair enough, detective. So can we get a carriage that seats five? Are they?
Yeah, that's possible.
Okay,
That's
well, then I
right.
will.
Let's say that's
So-
possible.
I think like 6.
I wonder to myself if anybody has any compassion anymore. It's like people talk to you on the phone as if you were assaulting them. It's,
feel like I'm getting the impression that I wouldn't. I mean, it's almost maybe not it's maybe not a curse, I guess, on this professor, but it seems like he's got such an impression that bringing him up just makes you just by mere assorting makes you feel like that you're also a problem, which is a bit worrisome on my part.
Yes, it
And-
does seem as though poor Professor Erling has left a very bad taste in everybody's mouth that he's met, except, of course, the silk flower salesman.
I made him his day, or I guess maybe
Yeah,
it
and
was you.
as you drive down the road, a light drizzle starts, and another thing you notice are quite a lot of students on the streets. I mean, Berlin has a university, but as especially Hans and Dr. Prince would know, there's a saying that Göttingen is a university. It's like, and that's what the town looks like. At this time in Germany, it wouldn't be very hard to identify students. Most students are male, of course, at this point in time. And most students are in fraternities. So they would wear caps, which usually either students at the universities or at the higher schools, like the high schools, would wear. So the students would look like something like this. They have different colored caps. Like the upper part is always in one color, and they have the small sash across the chest, and you see quite a lot of them. And you get to the house of Adele Stock, to the address she gave you. It's quite a big mansion, actually. Pretty nice looking, very well kept yard. And you step up to the door, I guess, and ring the bell.
Yep.
Well, actually, the woman answering the door is basically what you expected from the call. It's a rather thin, elderly woman, white hair. She must be in her late 60s or early 70s. The hair is bound in a top knot, and she's wearing a black dress. Yes. Good day. Please come in. You're the detective that called.
Detective Henning. Yes.
Yeah. Please come inside.
Hello, Frau. My name is Walter von Arenberg. Very nice to meet you. It looks like you have a marvelous home here.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for being willing to consider letting us stay here tonight.
Well, it is on rather short notice, I must say.
I apologize so much. You know, work from Berlin brought us here at the last minute, or we would have called ahead.
Okay. And but as I said, I have 3 rooms, and I can let them for couples, but they must be married couples, of course, which you obviously aren't.
Well,
Not because East and I will be staying in town. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So she, let me show you the house. The rooms are upstairs, and she shows you up the stairs, and I serve breakfast down here. The night is 10 marks, which is quite good for a night with breakfast.
Very reasonable, man.
So,
Ma'am, the professor, he stayed here with you and seemed to have upset you a great deal. Would you be
do we want
to tell us?
Do you want to step into the living room?
Yes,
Thank you.
indeed.
We'd appreciate it.
And she shows you to the living room and points to the big seats and sofas there. It's all very tidy, very clean. And I guess you take a seat?
Bro,
Yes.
could we perhaps could we all share a glass of wine? It's been a long journey. You can join us. I'll pay.
Oh, well, let me see what I can do. And she...
It sounds like it's been very hard for you, and we're here to help.
Yeah, she leaves for a moment.
Well, if she's left for a moment, I'm going to look around and see if I can see anything odd or out of place or weird.
I was also looking if there's like bookshelves and like what kind of books were there, just to see what she fills her halls with.
In the bookshelves, you see a whole bunch of scientific works. Not many novels or anything. Let me answer.
On a campus.
Whoops.
Says that there's university and she's renting to students occasionally. Then
but there's nothing really out of the ordinary. Rather, it's all extremely tight. Like everything looks like it has its exact place.
all right, that's a good sign.
keeps a consistent operation.
No, you don't see any overly fairy tale signs. Nothing like that. And she comes back from the kitchen. She has a tray with a couple of glasses and a bottle of wine.
Oh, let me pour.
Yeah. Oh yeah, thank you. So
Here, sit right here. This looks like a very comfortable chair.
well, it's that's my favorite chair. Yes.
Oh, of course. You clearly have very good taste.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, and a delightful bottle of wine. And I pour everybody some wine, making sure that she's got at least her fair share.
Yeah, with 6 people sharing a bottle of wine, there's not much chance of overindulging.
And passing on having one.
You don't need to get her drunk. She's probably willing to
No,
vent.
just comfortable.
No, it's kitschy.
So, detective, you said, did he do anything else?
Let me tell you our side of the story. We were contacted by his wife. He apparently, the first thing she found out was he went to a flower shop and purchased 3,500 fake paper flowers, silk flowers.
For a festival.
He was seen running.
Insane.
He was seen running naked through the streets.
Well, I heard all
You knew
about.
that.
I saw enough of that incident, and the poor Ella Kleinschmidt, the maid at a house, a couple of houses down the road. She had to see him running out up the street like that in his night clothes.
Ella Kleinschmidt, you said, ma'am?
Yes, she's with the Walters.
The Walters.
We
Give
are
them a visit.
we are assuming at this point that he's suffered some sort of mental breakdown. He is a professor.
Well, let me tell you, he seemed like a nice man, no doubt about it, and he seemed all normal and well behaved. Otherwise, I wouldn't have let him stay. I usually only take visitors to the university, so if I have to see to my reputation, I can't have people like strange people and get people to talk about my house. See, I'm a widow, and I have to see that ends meet. At first he seemed all normal. He went after he arrived here. He went for a walk. He went up the Hainsberg and spent at least that's what he told me where he went. And in the evening he went for his lecture at the university, as he told me. And up to this point, everything was normal. But then he had the audacity to come back at night with a young woman and take her to her room, to his room.
Shocking.
If that was in the papers, my house would be the scandal of the town.
Can you describe the woman for me?
Well, I think she's she's a student. That's what he told me. But I can't believe an honorable young lady and student at the university would come to a man's bedroom at night, and a quite pretty blonde girl was.
Not to be rude, but did you hear anything happen that night?
You think she might have a heart attack there?
Yeah.
Because it's like I wasn't sure. It could have been
I
anything.
dare say not.
So
It's
So
Truth is, she was upstairs with her thing.
I'm not one to
I don't know how
gossip.
thick the walls are here.
So, but out of care though, we met his daughter, right? She came to the detective's office.
Yes.
Was she also blonde?
Yes.
Okay.
Blonde curly hair.
And she was about 16, right?
16, 17,
yeah.
something like that.
Okay. All right. So maybe okay.
I was only asking because it's like it could have been something else, but hey.
Well, could be his daughter.
Well, do you say something about his daughter?
I'm not going to say anything about his daughter. Ma'am, could you give us a little bit more detail on how this young woman looked? Perhaps it was a
Did she speak
relative,
to you?
She was,
or a friend, or
I don't think that she was a relative. Then he could have just told me that, and they didn't have any family resemblance. If you ask me, she was quite tall.
And was she dressed like a student, or was she dressed?
Yeah, she was dressed quite sensible.
Well, as I say, we believe that his behavior became very erratic. We also know that at the lecture itself, he was a bit. It was a bit much. I'd like you to understand, though, that up until this point, the professor is well-renowned.
Well, yeah,
well
of course.
liked.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have taken him in as a lodger.
So this is unusual behavior. Something has happened to his brain.
So after, I think, like 2 hours, must have been something like 11 at night, when this young woman left. And I told the professor that he would have to leave my house next morning. I couldn't cope with that. And I thought I was done with the whole thing. I was going to give him his breakfast and send him on his way the next morning. When I suddenly was woken at, I think I looked at the clock, it was like 1 o'clock at night, by him storming out of the house. I saw him running out of the house in his nightshirt. I mean, that's practically naked. And how can a grown man go out in public in his night clothes? And he was shouting, "Eureka!"
Eureka.
Eureka.
I have it.
Like the old Greeks.
Very strange.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Perhaps I missed an important detail. How long did he stay here? Was it just that one day, or
that was just that one day, and that was pretty much enough for me.
so you checked in that afternoon, had this female visitor in the evening, and then ran outside in his nightgown.
And you say he went this way towards your
back to the Hainsberg, to the it's like a recreational areas, Citywood. There's the
so we should go.
You went there for a stroll in the afternoon.
Is the room he stayed in, is that currently unoccupied?
Well, yeah, all 3 rooms are, but he took all his things with him.
Oh, he did.
Oh, okay.
Well, people can sometimes forget they dropped something.
Can you tell us which room was?
What room was he in?
Actually, I can show you. So you can understand that the whole thing was quite unpleasant for me.
Of course.
And, in the next morning, I asked him to leave immediately. I'm sorry, I don't know if it was really correct, but I didn't even give him breakfast, and he didn't seem to mind, and he had the audacity and asked me for a train schedule, which I didn't have for him. I'm not much of
say where he wanted to go.
No, he just asked for a train schedule, and I couldn't.
So let me understand. He came back after he was seen in the streets.
Yeah. He came back like, I don't know, an hour or 2 later.
That's new to us. I thought he disappeared. at the
I
other
was
night.
I was thinking about not letting him into the house, but that would have created more of a racket.
And were there other occupants here at the time? Other people in the rooms upstairs?
No, he was the
Oh.
only one. And then he even asked me for directions for a street here in Göttingen. I can't remember. I wasn't in the mood to tell him. I think it was Weber Street or Wilhelm Street or something like that. I didn't really listen.
Is there a shop there that sells silk flowers?
I don't know.
Yes, fair enough. I'm very sorry. Frau, I've worked with the professor for many years, and he's never. I can assure you that his behavior, as insulting as you found it, was the result of some accident or injury. It's not like him at all. And I'm sure if we could find him and help him come to his senses, he'll apologize to you fully.
Oh, I would like to hear that. Yes.
I'm sure he has no ill intent. The young woman, when she left, did she seem? I mean, did you see her go? Was she happy? Unhappy? Did she storm
Well,
out?
she seemed quite excited. Yes.
And then it was another 2 hours before his bizarre excursion.
I would say so. Yeah.
He rushed out in his nightshirt. He went to Hainsberg. He came back after some period of time. Was he wearing shoes?
No.
Oh, it's very, yeah. His behavior is inexplicable. He must be under some kind of. He must have had a stroke or something. Yes.
Robin was the street of the flower shop.
Okay.
Of a W.
The flower shop, or better, that was a manufacturer. Wasn't in Göttingen directly. It was in a small town near Göttingen.
Goslar?
It was in, let me see, Ellihausen by Göttingen. You would have looked it up on the map. It's like,
yeah.
Was he ordering that? Did he order that the day after he was basically gone?
On the Wednesday.
That was 2 days ago.
Right, so it'd be after he left.
And you don't recall, ma'am, what train schedule he was after? You don't have a sense of his destination?
No, he asked if I had a train schedule, and I didn't have one. Don't have one.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And
actually,
so
I did, but I wasn't in the mood of letting him have it.
And he took his baggage and got a carriage, and that's the last you saw of him.
Yeah.
I trust you were paid in full.
Yes, he paid. I have no complaints in that regard.
Very good.
Well,
Yes, well, on behalf of the professor and his family, I would extend my apology to you. And again, if he can be recovered and recover, I'm sure he'll do so as well.
Does she seem like she's holding anything back, or is in any way being untruthful?
Do psychology.
I passed.
No, she doesn't seem like holding anything back. Quite on the contrary, she, despite all her reassurances that this was so horrible and that she hated the scandal, she seems quite eager to tell her story.
A little excited by some fun.
He wants to get it off her chest because just doesn't think anyone believe her to some degree.
well, let's not upset her anymore. I think we have some leads here to follow.
Mm-hmm.
I have an idea of something that might have happened.
Daniel and I need to go back
Get ourselves some rooms.
to town and get us a place to stay.
Ashok, do you think at this hour we could speak to Miss Kleinschmidt at the Walters, or would that be an intrusion after?
Well, it's around 7ish. It would be most likely dinner time.
Yeah.
So the maid would most likely be needed at that time. So either you should wait a little longer.
Ask her in the morning.
Yeah, or even better, early in the morning. That's usually a better time because the maid would be up and working, but the
Patrons, yeah.
the employers wouldn't be.
Thank you.
What Frau Stock has told us changes some of our ideas. We think now he obviously didn't run naked into the woods and disappear. So he came back, he picked up his things and he left. So he's gone somewhere.
Which might change, I think, how things went, but it means we have to go find that student. I think she might know more. I think she might know
How are we
something.
going to find her? There's 1,000 students. And
yeah.
Guess how many are blonde?
How many are a blonde lady?
But there aren't that many that are female, and we'll know that she's someone who is likely to have attended the lecture.
She's also a bit taller, which might mean she might be memorable to some.
In any case, we can do that in the morning. I'm saying it's not quite as urgent. We're not looking for a madman running through the streets.
Considering he also wasn't naked when he bought the flowers, and that was days later.
Yeah, well, he wasn't naked at all, as it happens. That was rather exaggerated. He was underdressed. But
it's also interesting. The daughter, if I recall, said that her father was near a breakthrough, said he was near a breakthrough, and then we have a eureka moment.
Mm-hmm. Something that was so urgent that he wanted to corroborate something or the like, that he ran out in the middle of the night.
I wonder if that student lady helped him figure something out, and then he ran to go find her again.
Well, he might have just been running like Archimedes, just in joy. And about the town yelling Eureka because he's figured it out.
In any case, Daniel and I need to go. We'll see you all in the morning. I'll come back here. All right. Let's go, Narbengesicht.
We can all meet in Hainsberg in the morning after we've enjoyed our breakfast.
You do that.
So you take off and go to find a rather cheap hotel.
You said it's 7.
Yeah.
Once I'm out of the building, Daniel, what do you think? Should we head towards the Hainsberg and?
Well, as you step out, you could basically try to do that. She said was like that way down the street. But the rain has quite picked up.
Oh, it's rain.
You would be
an umbrella.
Yeah, let's just get to the. Let's get back into the place where there's a hotel or something we can stay in a cheap
Get back in our
hotel.
roof. Yeah.
I guess you have her call a cab by the phone. There's they have
If that's possible, yeah.
They have a carriage, a place you can call, and the same driver that took you from the station picks you up again, and he brings you. Well, basically, he tells you that he can bring you to another nearby guest house, which is quite reasonable priced and serves good breakfast, as he tells you. Or there's the Hotel Bauer, like an upper middle class hotel, which should be like 20-25 marks the night.
What if he thinks the other place will have available? Will he wait outside if we run inside?
Yeah, he will wait outside. And They have 2 rooms available. It's
Excellent.
an old elderly couple that has like a little bed and breakfast going.
Okay.
So if you don't plan on anything for the night, then we can skip to the next morning.
Well, I wanted to find out what room the doctor was staying at, and maybe the 3 of us can look around.
Investigate the room.
Oh.
You know, something like I left behind.
She shows you the room, and the room is basically very tidy. It's all cleaned up, no dust specks or anything, and you basically don't find anything of his.
He didn't write anything backwards on the inside of the
Water.
Right. Yeah.
No.
I'm sure that the pillows are well fluffed and her breakfast will be ample.
Exactly. All as it should be. So what are you all planning on for the next morning? The weather has cleared up.
I think after breakfast, we're going to go to the Hainsberg to see if there's any clues along the way. Good morning.
Well, if you inquire with your landlords and landladies, you basically get the information that the Hainsberg is this recreational area. There's like a pub up on a small hill. It's a wooded area, and there's a Bismarck Tower, which is a thing that sprung up during the time before the war. That everywhere there were small towers built, which basically had no real effect. In olden days, they could have been used as watchtowers, but they are utterly useless today, of course.
So are you saying it's kind of a park area?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a park area. People go there for strolls.
Right. Yeah. Care for a
But
stroll.
you can spend some time there. So who wants to go where? So do you all go together, or?
Well, we also I think we wanted to see about asking at the train station if he got there, and if he got a ticket there. We could ask the carriage drivers who might have given him a lift and talk to them.
I also think it's worth asking the administration about who at his lecture was actually attentive, because we might be able to find that student, because she might have been there.
Before we leave the neighborhood of the guest houses, that we might as well speak to Ella Kleinschmidt. After we've had breakfast, then the vaulters should be out and speak to the staff.
Okay. So who's doing
is
what?
there one major university in Göttingen, or are there a bunch of schools? It's one.
No, it's one major university. So of course it's housed in there are different buildings, but it's just the one university. So who's going where?
So are all 5 of us going to talk to the young lady, or?
That's probably what you do before we get there.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk to the maid.
Okay, so three of us will go?
No, I think it's you and Hans.
Yeah,
Okay.
you and I will go and speak to the
Sure.
maid.
Okay. And that's just down the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
And
this
she
is the
can
young
tell us-
lady that
Witnessed him.
witnessed him at the, okay.
yeah. That she said that she witnessed him running up the alley.
In
She
his
might be able
nightgown.
to direct us more specifically to where he ran, or
Yeah, she
something
can
else.
tell you which house it is.
Right, sure, that Hans and I can, walk down,
Okay, so
have a hearty breakfast and walk down the road to try to find this young lady.
Yeah, it's another nice city mansion with well-kept gardens around it. And do you go to the front door or to the back door?
Yes, if we want to speak to a domestic, we might as well go to the back.
Okay. So you knock on the back door, and a red-haired, freckled woman of about end 20s opens the door. She's wearing one of these typical maid costumes, so a gray dress and a white what do you call apron. Yes, how can I help you?
Hello, please, might you be Ella Kleinschmidt?
Yes.
Sorry to bother you. We won't take much of your time. I am a student. Hans-Peter Lach is my name. And I have worked for some years with a Professor Erling, who's missing and I'm concerned about. Frau Stock told us that you witnessed his episode.
The old gentleman who yes.
Yes, who behaved shockingly.
Well, I didn't. Witness is. I saw him running up the street.
And he was, pardon my frankness, he was in his nightdress and barefoot.
From what I could see, yes.
Did you hear him say anything? How did he seem?
Well, he oh my God, he seemed quite in well, I would say euphoria. He was shouting something. I don't know. Rika, you.
Yes, and his wife and daughter are very concerned about him, as am I. Can you tell me what direction exactly he went?
Well, he if you get in front of the building, just up the road towards the Hainsberg.
Mm-hmm. And that's
I don't know what he wanted there. It was middle of the night. Do a psychology roll.
Sadly, I have base.
Basic what?
I got a 13, so I will spend 3. So close.
When she says that he ran up the, when she says that she doesn't know what he was doing out there in the middle of the night, she seems to hold for a second.
Mm-hmm. Is there any? I know that the Hainsberg is a place people go for recreation. Is anything there open at night?
Well,
at that hour,
I guess you can take a stroll there, but no. The Schöne Aussicht, the pub there would be closed long before that.
Mm-hmm.
And well, you could, I guess you could take a look at the Bismarck Tower from outside, or at the small Rheinsbrunn. But yeah, nobody should prevent you from looking at things.
Right, but normally no one goes there at night. Is that what you're suggesting?
She kind of turns a little bit red.
Mm-hmm.
No, don't think so.
At least no decent people go there late at night. Is that what I understand, Miss Kleinschmidt?
Well, her face starts to match the color of her hair.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't see the professor return then?
No, I didn't.
Yes. I'm surprised you were up so late yourself. Did you have a hard time sleeping that night?
Uh, um, I was I was I forgot something outside.
Mm. Well, here's here's my card, and I'll put Henning's number on it. If you can think of anything else that you noticed about his behavior or the like, you can leave a message at this phone number at any time.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll give her, I guess, what's a decent, like, large coin? 5 marks?
That would be quite good.
Yeah. You know, I mean, she's a maid, I'm sure.
I think that's like half the money you have for a day.
Well, I'm certainly going to get it out of the family, so, or the lawyer. Can you think of anything else, Joseph?
No, I think you did a fine job. Thank you, ma'am. We're sorry to take up your time.
Yeah, she seems in quite a hurry to get back into the house.
Then she shuts the door, I assume.
Yeah.
Well, Hans, he has a student over, hollers Eureka, like he found something.
But 2 hours after she leaves.
Okay, 2 hours after she left. And then he's just sprints down the street towards his park down the road.
Yeah, barefoot, where there apparently is a red light district at night or something.
Well, I wonder if he was quiet, if he had, I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't seem like he left an erotic reverie to me. It seems like it was something scholarly that he was excited about beyond reason.
Right, it was just an accidental destination. He was quite intent on.
He had been there in the afternoon. He did his lecture. He's so in rapport with this young blonde that he brings her back to the house despite the impropriety.
And of all the, I mean, he's a wealthy, well-known professor. Why would he stay at this little boarding house down the street from this?
Well, she says she often has visiting people at the university, but you know, I don't imagine the lecture tour was generously remunerated. But I don't understand what the maid is all.
What's she hiding?
Yeah. I mean, maybe she moonlights. Let's say.
Yeah.
Let's find the others.
While they're out, I want to talk with the Frau a little bit. Kind of nice chit chat, but I also want to ask her if she might have any idea that which cabbie picked up the professor.
He got a cap, and I don't know who it was.
Okay, I just thought you might have seen who it was. Yeah, understandable. The last thing you wanted to see was that man.
Oh, I don't really know.
If we needed to stay here again tonight,
well, you can keep the. I can let you have the rooms for another night.
I'm not sure that we'll need them, but I was just wondering if you could hold them for us.
Well, it would be nice if you could inform me at least like around noon.
Certainly.
So
and then, I head out to join everybody else.
Yeah, you basically meet up in front of the house.
Good morning. Guten Morgen.
Morgan?
So what are we going to do this morning? The Hainsberg?
I think on the way to the university, we might as well have a look at it since he went there twice. And we'll go over what the maid did and didn't say.
It sounds to me like she was probably having an affair in the middle of the night. And
I was also thinking, I possibly, but I at least thought that it looks like that she didn't see him in the building. She saw him on her way back.
she had a rendezvous at night.
Yeah, that's what it would suggest. She seems sweet. Yeah. So the pub will be open until the afternoon, I assume.
Yeah, that's most likely. Or at least in the if it's an excursion pub who have a kitchen and they might serve lunch.
Mm-hmm.
It's still fairly early, isn't it? So it's like 8 in the morning.
Yeah, something like that.
So let's walk to the Hainsberg, see exactly what we're dealing with, and then run to go over towards the university.
Yeah, you can basically
Admin
take
building, yeah.
a longish stroll. You walk up through the residential street, and it slowly turns into this park wooded area, and the road goes a bit uphill, which explains the name. Hainsberg would be like mound. And there are a couple of road signs, and one leading to showing to the Bismarck Tile, one showing to the small Rheinsbrunn or small Rhines well.
And that's a like a decorative pond.
Well, you can certainly go there and take a look.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the water feature that was mentioned in that letter.
Correct.
So you take a stroll. As I said, the rain has lifted, and the clouds that were overcast in the early morning are slowly breaking up. So it's promising to be another nice day. The Rheinsbrunn is like in the within the woods. There is this built wall from big natural stone blocks, and in a niche within it there is a small stone statue of a water nymph, and there's a small stream coming from under it, and she's sitting on like a bed of some strange things. I guess you're gonna get a little closer.
Do you mean part of the sculpture?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Look at it.
It looks like she's sitting on some kinds of, well, was it frogs and lizards, like all kinds of strange aquatic animals.
This is
Unusual.
this is a sculpture coming out of the water of the pond.
No, it's basically under the statue. There's a small stream running under it, so it's not a big spring, but just looks like it's a natural spring that has been walled in and has this decoration on it, and there's a plaque next to it.
I was about to ask about that. Yeah, if there was like a name on it or inscribed or something.
Written by Jakob Joch, born 1755 in Seehusen im Harz, died 1810 in Hildesheim.
Again.
Harz. That's an unusual last name.
Yeah, it is.
I suspect it might be Jewish in origin, like Joachim. We'll have to see about it. What other work? Is it stone or brass or
Brass?
Brass. And the creatures.
Daniel, you don't think it's a Jewish name?
Okay.
Amphibians, lizards, you said frogs. And she's you said, a water nymph. So it's a sculpture, but she's dressed in some sort of diaphanous clothing. And it's pretty little sculpture.
Weirdly think about the Frog King, but maybe that's because it's on the mind.
Yeah, I don't know of any myth that incorporates a bunch of. I mean, they're aquatic creatures? Are they all the same sort of thing, or are they very?
No, they look quite different.
So there are fish and frogs and salamanders and
And she's a nymph, which would be a water spirit. So,
and she's sitting on those.
Yeah, she's sitting on them.
Is it possible to circle the statue?
Well, you would have to crawl in behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's in a kind of niche.
Into the niche, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I can see
Daniel,
the professor
I don't want to get my
this.
shoes wet, but I wonder if perhaps you could step in and take a closer look.
it's just a statue.
All right.
Actually, just to ask for the name on the plate, the locations on the plate, are those like nearby locations, or are I just misremembering?
Well, he
You
definitely
seem to-
the Hearts region is something that he.
Yeah, the Hearts region is near.
And we've never heard of this artist, obviously.
No.
In 1810, though, which is a bit odd considering that we're also looking for other things involving that.
That's the right time.
You can all do a knowledge roll.
Ooh, that was terrible.
Oh,
I'm distracted.
I'm extremely successul.
Okay, you definitely
So am I.
remember the name Seehusen. You've heard or read it just recently.
In the Grim Letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was like the same name as the one in that letter, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, we have parallel inspiration that happened here then. And I can imagine with the letters that Eusebius had and being very excited about the statue and even wanted to see it again. But how many creatures are beneath her?
A bunch, like
Dozens? 10?
10
And
between 10 and 20.
Are her feet visible, standing on them, or are they?
No, she's like sitting on the side, like she
like on a rock, and then they're.
Yeah, exactly. Like she
Are
would
they-
be on a rock and has her legs to the left of her.
And do they look like they adore her, the sea creatures, or are they coming away from her, or are they just hanging out?
No, she just seems to sit on them. They don't look up or anything. There's no artistic expression in their little faces.
Odd piece. Well, the university library might tell us more about this Joch fellow. Should we visit the tower and see if there was something he saw from up high?
Well, you visit the tower. It's a stone, small stone tower. It's as far as you can see there. It's one like there's hundreds,
All over.
most likely in Germany.
It's not something that you climb to look out over an area. It's just a tower
you can go up and you can. There's a lookout platform at the top.
Because my other idea is that there was something that he realized he could see from high above the town.
Hatter was a statue, but maybe that's something else.
Well, he might.
Well,
the
you
statue
get
is definitely.
when you get up there, there are already a couple of visitors and strollers, and families who are taking a walk on a nice Saturday morning. And you basically have a nice view over the small town of Göttingen. You see the city center, which isn't too far away, so it's basically walking distance. But nothing really strikes you.
All right, then. That's Hainsberg. Cute. Off to the university, I guess.
Let's go.
I guess we'll just have to find out if someone, I guess, was around that night.
So you're taking advantage of the good weather and taking a walk into town.
Yes.
In comparison to yesterday evening, there seemed to be a little less students walking the streets. Might still be in bed. It's Saturday
It's
after
early,
all.
yeah.
Saturday, most people don't.
At least Hans and Josef would know what students do on Friday evenings.
They drink.
The university itself is arranged around a nice park area. It's a bunch of big old buildings. But you would guess that there isn't too much traffic on a Saturday. But you could ask around or anything, or maybe, or do you want to try at the university main building?
Well, I'm not sure how we're going to go about at this hour of the morning finding much out from the university about the students, because administration's probably not going to be there. I'm thinking that we might be very lucky if we just hang out where all the students hang out and question some of them to see if they know this female student. Most of them are male, so I bet you every one of them knows this pretty blonde female student.
Or at least the administration probably does, or at least the person that was running the lecture.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, if we know the name of the professor who is hosting the lecture.
I believe it was Gelderman.
Gilderman.
Probably knew.
Yeah,
probably
he's
has a list
probably
of
not on the
attendance.
university, but he's probably in the phone book.
So you basically you want to ask the students that are walking around, or
I mean, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, if we're walking around and there are students there, then we can just say, you know, do you know a young blonde woman who's in the university with you? And that's a place to start.
Well, there are a couple of nice blonde German girls here at the university, of course.
Any of them into
guest
fairy
lecture?
tales?
With an interest in folklore.
Folklore, fairy tales?
Well, you would have to ask at the ethnological department. I'm sure that there are some of those there.
What sort of student did Henning grab a hold of who's offering information? What's the fellow look like?
Well, it's a tall brown-haired guy with curly hair.
Did you hear anything about a really outrageous lecture early in the week? Like, because they're gossip.
I think everybody heard of the of Gelderman getting a fit.
Oh, well, please, we come to town for just that gossip. I work with the professor who caused all the ruckus, and he's gone off the out of the park.
That must be quite interesting.
Well, he was pretty reasonable until a few months ago. So what happened?
Oh, I wasn't there myself, but we're meeting a friend. Do a luck roll.
Not me. Somebody feeling lucky?
Yeah, you can basically all do.
That's I got it. I don't think it.
I got an 89.
Just normal.
I got an 88.
I succeeded.
I got a 30.
Well, we are meeting a friend. I think he was at the lecture.
Fantastic. We would love to hear a first-hand account.
So you basically accompany them, and they meet at a small cafe, and a rather diminutive blonde boy is sitting there, maybe 20, if at all, and he has a book in front of him. Hey, Peter, these nice folks ask about the lecture. You were at the Gelderman's lecture, wasn't you? The lecture where Gelderman threw his fit, and he looks up. Yeah, I was there. Those gentlemen are treating us to breakfast, I guess.
Yes, Mr. Prince here has hot chocolate and rolls for everyone.
Of course.
Yes, Peter, I'm Hans. The Professor Erling, I've worked with him for years. He's usually very mild-mannered, but it was a big to-do, I understand.
Well, it was quite a wreck. He gave his strange lecture. Honestly, I didn't get the half of it. It was I don't know. He really has strange ideas about that the language research should take a backseat for motive research, and he was going on about some new letters of the Grimms he supposedly had. But at the end, Gelderman was so enraged. He never, nobody even took a real look at the letters. And the most interesting thing for me was that he left with a student, this Professor Erling.
A tall blonde girl.
Not Gelderman, the one who held the lecture.
Yeah, the tall blonde girl.
Yeah, one of those Brunhildes, like a ice cold and always into her books and never gives a good German boy any chance. Rather goes off with his old fart.
All right, who's old enough to be her father? Certainly.
So
Yeah.
So this young lady was in the audience as a student, and then after the lecture, she expressed some interest, and then they.
Yeah, I think so. I've seen her around. Yeah, I think she's studying etymology or something.
Do you know her name?
Nah.
So it's entomology.
Yeah.
Insects?
Ethnology.
Ethnomology.
Oh, ethnology.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. It sounded like entomology.
Yeah.
No. But if you want to know more why Gelderman was so upset, you might maybe you want to talk to him yourself.
Yes, we're going to have to.
Is he in his office on Saturdays?
Nah, I don't think so. But
or where we could find him.
he and his colleagues usually have a cafe in the afternoon on Saturday at Cronin Lands. That's at the marketplace.
The marketplace.
Crown and Lance at the marketplace.
That's a noble cafe.
Excellent. So nobody saw the professor's supposed letters, but the content made
Well, I
Gelderman
guess
pop off.
someone must have taken a look at them, but I don't think they were of real interest anymore.
Young man, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Gelderman was screaming, and I think that was what most people were interested in at that point.
Do you usually get that explosive?
Well, I think he's quite the emotional kind. If you tickle the right spots.
So, young man, are you a good note taker? Do you have notes from this lecture that we could take a look at?
He looks through his book. He has a piece of paper there, and he has some notes. And basically, it aligns to the lecture you already have.
Okay. All right.
What kind of reputation does Gelderman have in general?
Oh, he's quite stern,
Hmm.
rather conservative professor.
Yeah, I think Erling anticipated that he'd be upset, but I'm not sure he knew it would be quite the notorious event that it turned into. I suppose if they often, the administration buildings are all closed on Saturdays. The library open?
Yeah, the library would be open.
We probably have a little time before the professors meet for their Saturday coffee clutch. So maybe I will pay a visit to the library if anyone's interested.
I guess we wouldn't have that much luck asking, I guess, going to the etymology about it, because we don't even have a name.
Can I ask, do you have any upcoming village festivals?
Ooh. Well, there will be. I think there will be a couple of festivals in the surrounding towns. We have no real plans right now.
One here.
But there should be some coming up, sure.
Do you get out of Gottingen much to see the other little villages, or do you mostly?
Not too far.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly inside town.
Mm-hmm. Do you know if any of the local festivals have a flower theme?
No, I don't know.
The professor's strange behavior continued after he left here, is why I ask.
Do you say?
Yeah, I will. Again, he's missing, so we can't give you. I can't tell you much, but I can tell you that there's a nearby village in which all of the silk flowers have been bought, 3,500 of them in every color.
Okay, what's he doing with that?
It's
Like
He must really be into that girl.
Yeah, I think it's a giant bouquet for Brunhilde. Well, thank you very much, Peter.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for the breakfast.
Absolutely.
Peter, if we do spend the night here, and I was interested in finding a little companionship, where would I go in town?
Well, they
do the students go over to I can't remember the name, the park area. What's
the Hainsberg.
Hainsberg.
Well, if you have a girl, it's a nice area for a nighttime stroll.
Ah, okay.
Many
Thank you.
secluded areas.
For deep conversation.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, so we say our goodbyes and head out at this point.
Yeah. If you don't have anything else to ask.
So, gentlemen, so if I understand the timeline correctly, he was invited guest to this university to give this lecture. I think it was 5 days ago.
Probably
Gave a lec-
invited longer ago, but yes.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
invited longer
yeah.
ago, but he was there on Sunday.
Okay, so gave a lecture which somehow infuriated or upset his host. And I guess the content was about some unique theory on Grimm's fairy tale. Is that what came across?
Yeah,
Yeah.
explain. Puck showed it a bit earlier. I think the other day about
And
it.
the letter, one of which we've seen, seemed to contain some proof of the professor's theory, which infuriated the other professor. I'm thinking that Daniel might have had something in the beginning. I didn't think that there was any point in studying the Grimm story, but if the professor has been working on this and he suddenly came to a realization as to what the story means and runs naked through the streets yelling Eureka, the story is interesting because, he goes to the park with his friend Fritz and he walks to the other side. His friend Fritz, who is Jewish, I don't know if that means something, but it could, yells out, "Why did you come back?"
It was also
And
like
then-
a park in one of the smaller towns during a
Yeah.
festival.
Why did you? And then he says, "To eat you better, the better to eat you with." And as Fritz is dying, he's saying, "Such big teeth, such big teeth." It's got to be something from the story, the Little Red Riding Hood, but there's missing pieces to that we don't know what it is. He says that it sounded like an old woman, but then it sounded like a man, the wolf dressed up like grandma.
Quite odd. And was the letter dated before he published it?
It's 1810. I don't know that answer.
I don't know either.
It might be. Well, yes, because he's still out they're gathering stories at that point. I'm just thinking that we've got the pieces to a puzzle in our hands, and we've got a professor who's trying to figure out that puzzle, and he suddenly may have figured something out.
Might be
If
other
we
letters.
can figure out the same thing, then we can figure out what he's doing
Yeah.
or where
Might
he's
also be other
going.
letters that he had.
Yeah. My guess is that woman, the student, somehow gave him the missing piece of the puzzle maybe even without realizing it.
Yeah, so even if she doesn't know much, at least if you find out what they
What
talked
she
about, what
talked to
he
him
said,
about.
Oh, and
it was
also,
obvious that like she was sympathetic to him.
yeah, and that she's an extremely serious student, not a frivolous one. So it wasn't some.
Personal endeavor of sorts.
Yeah, it was very
So,
direct.
from what I understood, Hans, you want to go to the library?
I'd like to visit the university library because I think we have a couple of hours before the professor is likely to
You
be.
took quite a long stroll, so
Okay. If we think it's cafe time at the marketplace, then we should go there.
well, you might have a little time before that. You could grab something to eat yourself.
And I'm going to call
you
the
can,
Frau
You can split up
and let
as
her know
well.
we're staying.
We could get 3 bowls of porridge and see which one is just right.
Henning, I think if I don't know if it's an idea or it's possibly bad luck or not, but if we try to cause them to occur, we might just start diluting our own ideas of it.
Something also that bothers me about that story is the phrase, "Why did you come back?" This Fritz in the story must have had a previous encounter with his murderer. Doesn't it sound like that?
It was over 100 years ago, so we can't go ask his family about it. Unless
No.
unless we can ask about there's a weird curse.
It'll be
called
hard
his
to
family.
find a witness.
No,
I
but
wonder if
yeah,
there's an obituary for him.
There was
at
a
this point,
cemetery.
I'm not trying to solve the puzzle. I'm just trying to find all the pieces and see what the professor might have figured
We're
out.
trying to find the frame to put the things in.
If we can find out the exact town that occurred in, that may be where the professor has gone to.
Yeah.
I don't know whether the letter was
Wait,
clear. He mentions
letter-
a lot of towns that he was going to. I
Did
don't
the
know if
letter
he said
did the letter
exact-
mention if Fritz was buried in a local cemetery or was it a cultural one?
It was definitely a Jewish cemetery.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was local or not, because that might shorten it down.
I don't know.
I think it's in the letter.
Yeah, I'm looking really quick.
Buried here in the Jewish cemetery.
To bury Friedrich in accordance with the rites of his faith, I've decided to have him buried here in the Jewish
But
cemetery.
we have to find a town that has a Jewish cemetery nearby. That might
Well,
shorten
let's
it
find
down.
out where here is.
And we didn't ask at the train station when we came in if anybody had seen the professor or he bought a ticket there or anything, right?
Well, you would know that you don't have personalized tickets at that time. So,
but they might have recognized him because he was.
Yeah,
quite
it might be that somebody recognizes him.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to go by the station and see about that.
Mm-hmm.
So Jacob, go ahead.
So Walter wants to go to the station. You can split up.
I'll go with Walter because I can describe
that's a good
pretty
idea.
well physically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Hans,
So Hans goes to the library to do some research.
we can go as professors.
Yeah.
But unless Hans wants to join us for that.
No, I'll meet you after.
Okay.
So we'll let's start with the train station. So you're inquiring for what exactly?
I want to see if anyone here knows or remembered the professor coming and buying a ticket.
Okay, and you're describing him. Do a luck roll.
Sure. 19.
Is that a hard?
Oh, 19 is... Oh. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I failed, so...
Let's see, my luck is 55, so... It's a hard, yeah. It's not
hard.
Extreme, but it's a hard.
Well, you find a train guide at the station who remembers an elderly gentleman who took a train around 11 o'clock on last Monday.
Because we know when he left, right? Because she said he was there that morning and then left, right?
Yeah, at night he after the lecture he ran out, and the next morning he asked for a train schedule and for direction to a street she couldn't quite remember the name of.
So that matches the date that he's given us.
Yeah,
okay.
It does.
Okay, so, sir, do you remember his destination or say where he was going?
Well, he took a train shortly after 11 a.m. Let me see.
let's look
And
at the schedule.
He checks the train schedule. Well, there's basically the only train he could have taken is the commuter train to Goslar. It's here via Nordheim, Kreinsen, Bad Gandersheim, Seehusen. That should. And he shows you the entry.
Goslar. Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any trains headed that way today?
Well, it's that train goes every day on. Let me see, 11 a.m., 3 and 7 p.m.
3 and 7 p.m.
Okay, but that's 2 days before he ordered the silk flowers, right?
I guess you don't ask the conductor.
No. do one of these towns have a lake?
Huh?
Do one of the towns have a lake that you know of?
You're not even there.
I want to ask
thought I
the
was
train
with them.
guide.
No,
I want-
you want to go to the professor. I saw.
Ah,
I wanted to ask the train guide if he was alone.
No, he was. I remember he was accompanied by a very beautiful young blonde woman.
And did they have luggage?
Yeah, they have. Well, they were in traveling attire, and they both had suitcases.
You didn't recognize the young woman, do you?
Ooh.
I,
Sir, there are so many.
I know. It's not a village.
Students coming through
just
here.
guessing, just hoping. Thank you for your help, and I give him a suitable tip. Oh, go
One
ahead.
more thing. How was his state of mind? Did he seem calm, excited, frazzled?
I think he was in a good mood.
Good mood. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so let's go to the detectives. You get to the marketplace. There's a brass statue in the middle of the marketplace, and you see quite a couple of students hanging around the statue. It's a statue of a girl with some flowers, and there are some geese around it. And there is the there's the cafe Krone and what is it called? Krone and Lance. And you see at a table out front there are 3 elderly gentlemen sitting there who just scream professors.
and I'm
One
sorry.
is like the big bushy beard, and one has whiskers, and one is a small guy with a mustache and monocle.
And we're looking for Professor.
Elder one.
So you go up and
One of you would be Professor Gelderman, right?
The gentleman with the bushy beard, he's bald. He looks up, puts his cup of coffee down. I'm Dean Gelderman. Who's asking?
Professor, we're detectives from Berlin. No need to worry. That has nothing to do with you. We
Of
have
course
been
I'm not
sent.
worried.
We've been sent to see if we can locate poor Professor
Erling.
Erling. And
and it's like a clatter. His when he
Dramatically lowers his cup of coffee.
he puts his cup of coffee down, spills a bit of it. I would prefer if I never have to hear this name again in my life.
Well, we believe the man suffered some sort of a mental breakdown.
Well, the
And,
man is a mental breakdown.
well, let's have compassion on the man and see if we can get him to a hospital, but we need to locate him first. Can you give us at least some clue as to what he is researching that got you so upset?
Researching, if you can call that, he has the strangest ideas that his fairy tale nonsense has an inbred meaning, and that we should, I don't know, take a look at the motives of the stories. These stories are very interesting from a language point of view, but nothing else.
So
You spread his nonsense here. I'm sorry, I can't.
So
This is bad for my health.
Daniel, what do you think?
That goes off the basis that a fairy tale is not based off of folklore, which means it doesn't have
Well, of course, they're based
which doesn't
in
have a basis
folklore,
and like a basis of a meaning.
But the folklore itself is not actually based in any kind of reality. For instance, a
you
murder
really
occurring.
think there are frogs that fulfill wishes?
Well, no, but sometimes who am I to lecture you? You know about it.
This all day.
We're simply trying to locate him. Do you know where? We have his schedule. We know where he was going to go next. However, he canceled his lectures, and he seems to have gone off with some.
I think he was headed for Hanover. Good for them.
Yeah, no, he didn't go there. He seems to have met some blonde student, female student in your class, in the lecture. Somebody who knows a lot about folklore. Do you know who I might be talking about? Do I know Brunhilde? Do I know that name?
That's a term.
Yeah, you were all together there.
Okay, yeah. I think her name might be Brunhild, or
I think that was just the term they gave her.
oh, maybe. It was a Valkyrie. Yeah.
Let's see. I noticed him leaving with a young woman. Yes, that's right.
In any of your classes?
I think I have seen her before. But I'm
not one of your prize students or anything like that.
And one of the other professors, the smallish guy, wasn't that young Mrs. Bernd? I think I know her. She's quite a good student. She takes a deep interest in folklore. She's working on. I think she's working on her graduation. If I'm correct, she should live in with Mother Tucker, isn't it? One of the older ladies who rents out for the female students.
A house mother to a.
I think it's in Wilhelm Weber Straße.
Okay. Well, you should know that it seems like everybody who the professor has interacted with seems to find him quite toxic. So it certainly isn't just you.
Well, I was hard pressed not to have anyone get wind of this whole thing when he ran out in his nightshirt and. I mean,
I'm afraid everybody seems to know about it. All of your students seem to know about it. So the rumor mill's already.
But students usually know every secret there is, unless it has something to do with an exam they have to take. Then those lazy buggers never seem to know anything.
Ah, the foolishness of youth.
I heard his lecture was about supposed letters. Did he keep those with him?
Yeah, he had some supposed letters of he discovered in the Prussian National Archive. There was such an uproar, nobody really took notice. Probably they were fake anyhow. I'm not convinced that he discovered any new letters by Jacob Grimm. That would be spectacular. How should they be have been overlooked?
One of those letters, which we have seen.
Well, you have seen a transcript.
I've seen a transcript, right?
Yeah.
It mentions in our investigation, we may be looking for a Jewish cemetery, and we want to look for the grave of somebody mentioned in the letter that might corroborate the letter's authenticity.
That would be interesting. Do
you know if there's a town near here along the train line that has both a Jewish cemetery and a lake in it?
See, no big lakes here.
Nothing like a half a mile across.
No, not really. There are small ponds and things all over the Harz, but well, the from what I understand, the whole Harz is basically built on limestone, and it washes out and forms sinkholes. You would have to talk to somebody from geology.
Geology. And I look over at Daniel and say, they might all be connected underground.
Might have been a lake 100 years ago.
Thank you, Professor. We're sorry to have bothered you during your respite.
Enjoy your coffee.
Good day to you. So, and Hans, what do you want to research? You mean?
The first question is, I want to see what I can learn about this Joch fellow.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything about his life, other works?
And what else?
I want to. I don't think I'll find anything in the stacks about this. So I'll speak to a librarian about local seasonal festivals.
Okay. Give me a library use and a luck.
Library use 75. That's a 65, so only a regular. Luck is now 71. 14 is, I think that's extreme. Yeah, that's extreme.
Extreme in luck?
Mm-hmm.
And regular in library use.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for the for the yoke fellow, you find that he is not a very well-known figure. He is a stonemason and a stone artist who was born in the town of Seehusen in the Harz. The date fits what's on the plaque. And the most notable project he worked on towards the end of his life was the cathedral in Hildesheim, where he was engaged in part of the sculpting and the sculpture of the small Rheinsbrunn here in Göttingen. You find something that he had a fallout with his family and left his hometown as a young man and never returned to his hometown before he died. And for the Lacroix, you talk to one of the librarians, and she says, "Well, there are festivals all over the place. In my hometown in Seehusen, there will be the Rifle Festival next weekend. The Rifle Club has its annual fair."
How do people celebrate that traditionally?
Well, it's a big festival with a parade and a dance and a carnival and the shooting, the marksman shooting for the king of the Marksman Association. That is something that all of you know. All the towns in Germany have traditionally these marksmen's associations, and they usually have a fair once a year, and they have some kind of prize shooting there, and the winner is crowned the king for the next year, and basically has to pay for much of the partying over the next year. So you don't voluntarily win this if you're not willing to put money into it.
No, it's a self-esteem, self-aggrandizement thing. Yep. If you're a good shot but don't have any money, you come in second.
Exactly.
And the parade has floats with flowers and things?
Oh, yeah, sure.
What's Seehusen like?
It's a nice little town.
Are there any traditions there that are unusual, or like local folk stories or that sort of thing?
Well, local folk stories. Well, we have the Redekog, which is our communal bathing place. It's like an open air, small open air lake. It's used as a bathing area. It's one of those sinkholes that form all over the Harz.
Mm-hmm. And it's called the Redekog?
Redekog. But it's a town like many here in the area.
Is your family still there?
Special. It's home.
Yeah. Is your family still there?
Yeah, I still have family there.
Do you visit?
I go visit, yeah. Mm-hmm. From time to time. I might go for the fair.
Yeah, my friends and I are doing a sort of local tour, so I might run into you again there. Did you hear about the notorious lecture on Sunday?
Well, I heard that there was some uproar concerning a lecture from a visiting professor.
Yes, my friends and I are trying to track him down. I have worked with him for years, and he's gone, a bit mad. I think.
Well, young man, sometimes it's you scholarly types take your research too serious, I think.
Mm. Yeah, it's. I guess one can get carried away. Do you have records of obituaries over any lengthy period of time for the region?
No,
No.
I wouldn't think so.
No. Yeah, I'm looking for a death announcement from 1810. Do you have any ideas?
Well, your best guess would be with the church the person was buried.
Right, local authorities from that far back, because nothing was
Yeah.
published. Well, thank you. You've been very helpful. Perhaps I'll be seeing you in Seehausen.
Okay. So all of you reconvene?
Around the brass statue of the girl with the geese.
Yeah. It's a so-called while the first of you are waiting there, you learn that that's the Gänseliesel. That's like it's a local tradition that any student who gets his doctoral degree kisses the Gänseliesel. It's a local tradition.
Hans, I think we might have, if you think you might have found where we might need to go next.
We're looking for a town with a small lake,
That
a Jewish
probably
cemetery.
used to be a
Yeah, and the other thing in the letter, he mentioned that the place was named because may have been placed because there were so many small meadows, and I would. Is there some German phrase that
Well,
might be missing?
Yeah. Well, yes. A lake would be in German would be a sea.
And what about meadows? Other tiny meadows that are so numerous that probably once gave it its name.
Yeah, sea as in Seehausen. And you've got
Okay. Seehausen. Yeah, that makes sense.
and Henning, this I guess we should see about this. What Mother Tucker, who might be able to give us the name of the missing tall blonde, or is it Mrs. Barrett or Miss Barrett?
Miss.
That's the name of the. That's the name of the.
He said Miss Bernd, of course.
band, yeah.
That's the name of the house mother, not the
House mother
student.
is Tucker, but Barrett is the student. Yeah.
Student
Yes.
name. Okay, that's
I
what
guess
thought,
I maybe we don't need to visit the house. We know that
Because
Barrett
it turns
is.
out she might have left with him already.
The gentleman at the train station, I think, said they departed together to a town called is it Gessling or Gessler.
Goslar.
Yeah,
End of the line is
commuter train
Goslar.
that stopped at a lot of small towns.
Including Seehausen.
Yeah,
Might be where he
and the next
might not
train
be where
leaves at
he's
3.
yeah. Probably not where he went. Probably not where he is now, but it probably was where he went, which gives at least another chance to see someone saw him.
Well, and right, what's the name of the town from the flowers manufacturer? Is that Ellihausen?
Ellihausen.
Yeah, Ellihausen. Is that
I
on
can
that
ride.
train line? You got the schedule.
No, it's not.
Is it near
Drat.
Goslar? Is it near Goslar?
No, it's not. It's
But-
actually it's quite near here.
Huh.
What about?
But did he go
but
there
say
and then
who-
come back?
Go ahead.
He
Well,
left
I
on a
mean-
train and then he ordered the flowers and got a cart and went.
But why get the flowers? That doesn't. I mean, it's not like here, my dear. Here is a bouquet of 3,500 flowers. That's preposterous. He had
Yeah.
boxes of flowers.
And I don't get the impression that it's romantic. I think they're running off together on some kind of
It makes
voyage of
sense.
discovery. Although maybe he's having a midlife or late life crisis and I'm just being.
Be both.
If you were going to If you were going to get a girl flowers, you'd get real flowers. You wouldn't get silk flowers.
Unless
Even
it's-
3,500.
Yeah, unless they're trying to recreate some kind of old folklore ritual or something.
But silk flowers are fairly modern. That's hardly an industry that existed 100 years ago.
Silk isn't nylon, but
Letter of the term, not the meaning, I guess is the way to put it.
So I believe we've asked, I believe we've asked several people about local towns with festivals involving flowers, and we haven't gotten any straight answer on that, correct? I mean,
Well, they all seem to have. We need to narrow it down. We need a place where there's a lake,
a Jewish
and
cemetery.
a Jewish cemetery, and a mill.
Or at
Mm,
least
should it-
one that they used to have 100 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we can ask somebody if Seehusen has an old mill pond and a place for us to spend the night, and
I'm sure
and
there are
that's
some
on the train to Goslar, right?
Mhm.
German geology or geographers in our university here.
Yeah, we know there's water in Seehausen. We just don't know whether he's moved
I guess
on.
we go
To,
to I guess we just go to Goslar and then I guess just see if there's still a trace or a track of him.
well, there's and the festival in Seehausen is in a week. So if it's the festival, we have time to
If-
explore.
Also, if he just stayed on the train, then there's going to be no trace of him. Where was the ticket to there, or was it?
Jim, did he say he was going to Goslar, or he bought a ticket heading towards? What was his exact?
The commuter train goes to Goslar,
That's what he said. Okay,
and
so
it
could be
runs
anywhere.
past a couple of smaller towns.
Right. It's a local that people take to get around the neighborhood. So
Okay.
he could
So
be
could
going
have stopped.
to
Could have
any of
stopped
them.
anywhere. Yeah.
That's not
Yeah,
towns on the way,
so-
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should call Seehusen and book some lodging and double check that they have a pond. And
Yeah, ask about a Jewish cemetery for that matter.
yeah,
And if they've seen an old man with great mutton chops and a giant Brunhilde.
we can go back by the house and I can tell Frau, what's her name? Frau, I can't remember
Schock.
her name, I'm sorry.
Listen,
That we're not going to spend the night and ask her if she knows anyone there that we could stay with that she could recommend. I have to pick up my bags anyway.
No, she doesn't know anyone there.
Fair enough. Okay. Thank you,
But
man. We're not
you
going to
can
need the
use-
rooms tonight. Thank you.
Okay, and so you can catch the last train, which is on
7, yeah.
7.
p.m.
7 o'clock. Okay.
what time does
Call
it
ahead in
arrive?
both rooms.
That would bring you to Seehusen at where is it? Train light. Good. Stop. Somewhere around quarter to 9.
And someone at the train station will know about accommodations.
Yeah, maybe we can call ahead this time. Just get a hotel.
That's
Sounds smart to me.
okay.
Let's do it.
That's what our plan is.
Yeah.
Okay, so you call ahead, and what kind of hotel do you want? Upper class, middle?
Middle. I guess we can
Middle.
afford middle.
Middle, yeah.
It's something where we don't regret sleeping in.
So let me see.
Place with few rats.
Frogs.
The rats are friendly.
Do you think the professor and the student would stay in separate rooms, or would they lie about being family?
So you have yourself patched through to the Seehusen operator, and you ask for a middle class hotel. I could. I have the health resort Wilhelmsbad or the Golden Lamb?
Which one's
Golden-
cheaper?
Golden Lamb sounds more like a fairy tale.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
Oh, I don't have.
although the
prices
other
for
one
them
is
here.
probably at the Springs, so
Maybe where they went, but
So, which one?
I say Golden Lamb. That's my vote.
yeah,
Golden
yeah,
Lamb.
we can go to the Springs on our own.
Okay, so you book rooms for the Golden Lamb, and you arrange for getting there late at night. Well, at least late in the evening. Anything you want to do before going off?
on the train, I'm gonna actually ask the conductor if he remembers the couple.
Okay.
Not sure the conductor.
Do
would
a group.
spend any-
Do a group luck. So lowest luck.
Not me.
My luck
55.
is 70.
Mine is 55.
Yeah, okay. I'll do the roll if you want me to.
No, how low is your luck?
How low is your luck?
55.
Anybody lower? Okay.
Okay, then you go. And 55 rolls.
20.
Hmm?
That's hard.
Hard. Yeah. The conductor remembers the two of them, and he remembers them getting off at Seehusen. So, last thing then, I want everyone to do a constitution roll.
Yes.
That's pretty out of nowhere there, Jim.
Hard. Hard
Regular
pass.
success.
Regular pass.
I failed.
So Joseph failed, Hans failed. Card? Pass or
Oh,
fail?
I got a hard. Yeah.
Normal pass.
Hard. Okay. So the two of you who who failed. The day was quite strenuous. You did a lot of running around. And you fall asleep. Where is it? And when you wake up again, you're sitting in your seats in the train, and you look around, and there's no one there beside the two of you.
They wouldn't have gotten off the train without us. What the hell? Is the train moving?
The train seems to be moving.
I'll stand up and go to the front or back, whatever's closest, and
Well,
check the neighboring carriage.
Yeah, you stand up and you take a look, and back looks the door to the next compartment, to the next carriage is a few rows away, and you turn to the other side, and there is a stairway leading down through the floor of the train.
What's it look like outside?
Normal,
Just countryside in the dusk.
just the countryside. But as you take a look outside, it starts to change from the wooded area you started with, and you see that it's all cornfields.
Doesn't seem like
Like as far as you can see, there are yellowish cornfields. And you see this staircase as well.
I don't understand, Prince.
Sorry, Hans. I don't know any better than you do at this point.
Well, you're in my dream. So
Oh.
why don't you go down the stairs
Wheat
first?
fields, not corn. Sorry.
Mhm.
Sure. I guess the curiosity is overwhelming. We'll head down this, or I'll head down the stairs.
Both of you?
It's my dream. He can go and tell me.
Go check
Well,
for traps.
you start down the stairs, and suddenly, Hans, you find yourself on the staircase, on the steps as well, and you find yourself walking down.
Does it still feel like the train is moving? Are the stairs in a moving thing?
You take a look up, and you don't see the train anymore. There's just this staircase that's leading down.
Oh.
And suddenly, as you blink, you're standing in front of an old medieval-looking town wall.
Daylight, night.
It's daylight.
Wow. I shouldn't have had that
And-
roll before we got on the train.
And as you turn around, suddenly you're not outside the town wall, but you're in a street. Like there's the buildings look like they're slowly decaying. They seem abandoned. It's like old thatched roofs, and the wood is in a pretty disrepaired state. And you are standing in front of another wall.
Inside the wall, there's a wall in the village.
And see, it looks like a park behind it. There's a gate.
Is there
And
a lake behind the gate?
No, but there are bushes and thorny hedges. It all seems quite covered in it.
Like Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, it comes to mind.
Is there a building visible beyond the thorny?
No, the hedges are quite high. And as you take a look, you see there are bones and skeletons entangled in the thorns.
Human.
Yeah, human.
This is a
Some-
terrible dream.
There you see a sword and a piece of an armor.
Is the sword rusted or bright?
Yeah, it looks rusted.
Any sound?
It is awfully quiet.
You know, Prince, we've never been on the most perfect of terms. It's a strange way to meet you inside this. Is there a tunnel in the shrubbery, or is it impassable?
You try to push the shrubberies away?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do
Yeah,
that.
it's quite easy. You can quite easily pass through.
All right. And within?
What's that?
So you both continue, and you push through these shrubberies and thorny hedges, and you reach at some point an opening. You're standing in front of a dark tower. It seems to be made from big black stone blocks, like they're very smooth, like obsidian. There doesn't seem to be a door. And as you look up, you see there's something is falling down. There seem to be some windows at the very top, and something's falling down. Looks like
Rapunzel.
a rope. Better, yeah. It's blonde hair.
I wonder if this is Brunhilde's. I'll give it a little tug.
That seems sturdy.
Who's up there? No answer?
No answer.
Well, I'm dreaming, so it should be easy to climb, right?
Well, you can try to climb it. Give me a climb roll.
I'll stay down on the ground.
Yeah, that's my second 88 tonight. I cannot climb it.
So you start climbing up, and at some point you lose your grip, and you fall down. And Joseph, you see he keels over and he's just gone.
He disappears.
Yeah.
And the hair is still dangling.
The hair is still dangling.
I'll take a try at climbing.
Have a go.
Failed 80.
Same thing. You start climbing up and you use the hair as a rope and you get quite a bit up there and then you slip. And as you fall, you hear this whistle and you wake up sitting in the train and wake up from the train whistle that as you just enter a train station.
And everything's back to normal. Everyone's around me.
Everything's normal. The both of them have fallen asleep, and when you enter like the third stop on the way in Nordheim, when the train whistle blows, both of them shudder and wake up.
Well, Hans, I just had a really strange dream, and you were in it.
Was I talking in my sleep? Is that because I I hate it when I fall in dreams. It's so it just like always makes my I wake up with a little adrenaline bump.
You two had a shared dream?
No, he was in my dream. But
he was in your dream.
He was in my dream.
What did you
And what
dream?
did you do in your dream?
What's all this fairy tale stuff, we had, there was a dark tower and Rapunzel let her hair down.
You had the same dream?
That's what I remember.
So
That's exactly what I remember.
Let's talk more about this later.
I think you can
Sanity
discuss
check?
this next time.
What?
I
You can
wondered about a
discuss
sanity
this
check.
next time.
Next time, all right.
Maybe if everybody talks at the same time, you can hear what you're saying. You said we can do this. We can start to talk about this next time.
All right.
Yeah.
Our players included Brian Ridge, David Gasaway, Max Stoll, Steve Anderson, and myself with Pascal Breitenfeld as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.